Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to do it in English, because I'm sitting here today with Bastiaan Hamersveld, the one and the only Bastiaan Hamersveld. Good to have you here, man.
Thank you, Kevin. So good to have you here.
And we've been talking about making some videos for quite some time, and finally, we're here.
We made it.
We're going to talk about SAFe, LeSS, how they intertwine, how you can get cured from SAFe. But first, you are CEO of the LeSS company.
Correct.
Very cool. With a history at TomTom. Very
Also,
cool.
Yep. A very nice product company.
Very nice product company indeed. And now CEO and advocating for more LeSS. At least that's how I experience you.
Yeah. That's the main goal.
That's more or less
Correct.
at organizations, because at least how I see it, it's something that you believe in because it creates a better working place for people.
Correct. Yeah. The funny thing is actually when most people, when they actually already have a journey in agile or a transformation, some part of the organization, and then you read about LeSS, then a lot of things start to fit together. And that happened with me as well.
Ooh.
So the moment Bas and Greg said, hey, would you like to join us? And I started to learn way more about LeSS. I thought, fuck, I already know a lot of this stuff. It's just...
Somebody wrote it down.
Yeah, it's so good. So LeSS is actually very easy.
I think that's the most important thing, that if I were to introduce you, is somebody that really advocates for LeSS because he really believes in it. And I've gotten to know you as a really gentle and caring dude.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Not necessarily CEO-like, but that's exactly why I think why I like you.
Good.
At least.
And then I think it's also good to introduce you.
Well, thank you.
Kevin Rommen, founder of the coaching company in the Netherlands, Verandert Gewoon. Super cool company, I must say.
Thank you.
I think we've met.
It's good for my ego if you say that.
Yeah. I think we've met on multiple occasions before we actually more seriously started to talk. I think what I really like about you, Kevin, in all the times that we talked, is you are so full of energy and you have such good knowledge of, let's say, almost everything, that you're really able to connect things together and see, okay, why is this not working in this type of environment? And why is this not working in this kind of framework? And how should we connect it or not for the purpose? So I think that's what I really appreciate talking
Well,
to
thank you.
And I think that could be also a really good topic for today.
I think that's something that we need to dive into. But first, I always do a check-in. And for the people at home who don't know what a check-in is, it's something that we do in order to be really present in the moment in here and have a great talk and not have our minds exploring all other things. So I have a check-in question.
Yes.
Currently, what's keeping you busy outside of work?
Outside of work, I would say that would be my kids. I have two.
Oh, that's keeping you busy.
Two girls, 11 and 13. And it's a great age, I must say, with all kinds of positive challenges. But like, for example, last weekend, we actually went karting. We're a big fan of Tesla. So there was a light show in Luxembourg where we went, and the kids were able to do some karting.
Oh, that's fun.
So it's keeping ourselves busy and enjoying life with kids.
Nice.
And yourself, Kevin? What
Well,
keeps you
it's
busy
also
currently?
kids. We're preparing birthdays. Both of my kids, they are 4 and 8 right now, almost 5 and 9, and the birthday is coming up. So we need to prep food, invite everyone for a whole day of, well, typical Dutch birthdays, sitting in a circle, going around with food and stuff like that. And I'm also prepping her birthday present, which is really difficult. not to get out of the box, because it's a little bit for her and also a little bit for me, because she wanted a 3D printer. Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Sounds like fun for me as well. So it's very busy with that. So this video can't come out until the upcoming weekend, because then she'll know. Thanks. Good to have a little bit more insight in what's outside of work. But back to work, safe, less, and everything in between.
It can be a lot.
It can be a lot. Let's start with, let's say a minute or so. What's your perspective on safe, less, the combination of it, and how they relate or intertwine?
Yeah. So safe has been doing quite well. Most people don't know, but less and safe started actually around the same time, with a big difference where less was kind of organically grown. People were trained, those people were training other people, coaches came about, practitioners came, and then it kind of spread it out of around the world. And Safe had a really commercial focus. Nothing wrong with that. And they did exactly the same, but at a much higher pace, and had a really good marketing at the beginning. So that's where Safe grew pretty fast, actually. But for the last few years, especially when I joined LeSS as well, I saw in speaking with people who were part of a safe adoption or a safe environment, they were actually trying to get less insight. And some are really hiding it. But most of them were preparing for the next CEO to come and say, hey, we're doing this safe thing. It might, it did its thing. And we would like to transform into something new. Something where we can work potentially different. And then they start working a few years on getting the things they feel is right. I wouldn't say hollowing out Safe, but at least they're trying to get a lot of the concepts inside Safe. A good example of that is, for example, Austrian Post or Austria Post. There was a talk about that in the last...
At the last conference.
Yes, and it was really interesting. And they were also doing Safe and some other things, and they're now really trying to move that whole organization into less. But they're not doing it in one step. They're doing it in some multiple steps. And that was really cool to see how that happens. And I hear that a lot. But that doesn't mean it's easy. At the moment, Safe is in a decline in terms of adoptions. A lot of organizations notice that it was good in the beginning. It gives some structure. And for a lot of organizations, that's actually really good to do. And less could have been a step too far to do. So I think Safe, it has its place definitely for a lot of organizations until they realize, we're not really that agile or adaptive at all.
At all.
We added some complexity, perhaps even too much complexity. So that's when people start to realize that's what we humans do. We learn by doing. So it's a very natural process.
Nice. Interestingly, Safe and less, to me, it's like they're like two weird brothers that go along and don't go along at all.
Yeah,
they have
can see that.
A truly different perspective on reality. And I get that Safe has grown in such an immense space. I think it's what DiMaggio and Powell call institutional isomorphism, which is I'm going to do what everyone is going to do. And I think that worked for Safe. What I also think worked is that they have provided a sense of safety and security for senior leadership, which is exactly what they want to buy.
Yeah.
However, that sense of security does not always result in actual security and safety or actual risk management, and potentially even more cost, because it indeed adds complexity.
Yeah, correct. It doesn't help. But the way a lot of the C-level looks at it is they are usually there for X amount of years.
Exactly.
4 or 5 years. And that's also the time it takes to implement SAFe properly. So it's a safe bet in that sense.
It's in the name.
To do it. Yeah, the name is brilliant, actually.
And to be real honest, less in that sense is great, but the name is actually counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Because we as humans we rather do plus than minus. We rather do more than less. That's the counterintuitive part that I think many organizations that are now doing less are learning, that it's not necessarily helpful to do more in a complex environment.
Correct.
And I think there's a way to cure yourself. And that's the thing. Everyone should have the opportunity and the ability to make their own mistakes. And in some environments, it might even work because partially there is an amount of clarity in the framework of SAFe that helps. But there are also, I think, a lot of elements that don't really resonate with one another, making it immensely complex.
Yeah, and I think especially the complexity is what is the biggest burden of SAFe, actually. For
today, we're already in it for about 13 minutes. What are the subjects that we need to discuss? Because there are so many things that we could dive into.
Well, we always can make it a series, and we'll just call this number 1.
Yeah, nice.
But I think what a lot of the listeners would like to hear often is, I am part of this environment, the SAFe environment. There's not much I can do about it at the moment. But I do like to know, what can I do about it?
Many things you can do.
Yeah, so I think that would be a good initial start to open up a lot of potential where people can honestly look at, okay, I'm in this environment, I have some authority or not, and what can I actually do?
What can I do
to help? And who would I need in that? Because you have Scrum Masters, you have coaches, but I also see, for example, that the project managers often feel that, okay, this is not really how we should do it, actually.
Yeah.
But they don't know how.
What else?
To do something else?
What can we do, and what should we and ought we do about this? I think everyone can do things to make SAFe work for you instead of against you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm often inspired by LeSS in the work that I do. I've been in... do I need to say it out loud? I've been in SAFe transformations before at multiple clients.
Yeah.
Often being presented with, here you have a blueprint. And here you have a playbook, which often is like 200 pages of PowerPoints. Which I say, thank you. And I'm going to put them in the closet. And then do the actual work. And it starts with the belief that Scrum Masters, developers, product owners do have an opportunity to influence. I think we often forget that if senior management wants to call it SAFe, and then I'll just talk the talk that they want to hear, but if I'm going to do the real work on the ground with teams, and if that shows an increase in a decrease in lead time, in their words, it's often an increase in velocity. I don't care about that. But if that's what they want to hear, we can talk about velocity, reliability. At least if the metrics are improving, they're not going to touch it.
Nope.
Then they have bigger problems. There are always other departments that are that need attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I always just try to remain underground. Within an art, you can do almost everything and change everything. Starting with at least talking about a one product backlog. What I often do is, at least with Scrum Masters and product owners, start with doing the most simple causal loop diagram as a talking tool.
Yeah.
For the viewers that are not aware of what a causal loop is, can you explain? Well, because I'm talking a lot, and if I'll just banter on, do you want to, or shall I go?
Yeah, so causal loop diagram, it's part of the systems thinking, systems modeling, where you actually look at what is the actual thing that you want to talk about. Could be a problem. And then there are a lot of variables that you think might influence this particular problem. And basically what you do is you draw arrows from one to the other, whether something increases or decreases in terms of strength or numbers or whatever. And by doing that together with a group of people, that's where you together find out, hey, this might be not true, or hey, I come up with another variable that influences it differently. And then you get a new sense of perspective that you didn't think about before.
Earlier. And it's a shared perspective.
It's a shared perspective, yeah.
And that works because every model is wrong, some are useful. And what I often do is beginning with Scrum Masters, and then with product owners, and with tech leads, and then with the group as a whole, I'll just go with SAFe also talks about continuous improvement. So we're going to do causal loop diagramming. And the most simple one would be, okay, if I drink a beer, then I will get more happy. And if I will be more happy, then I will drink more beer. So it's a reinforcing loop.
Exactly.
People's like, but that's not entirely true. So that's how I teach them to do causal loop diagramming together. There is a cutoff point. Okay, so what's that? Okay, then you get intoxicated. That makes you less happy. It's a balancing loop. So by talking about continuous improvement and the pain points that they are having, it's unclear. We don't know. We are even less productive than we were before. We need more clarity. By doing this work, we create a shared perspective. Okay, what do we want to improve? And it's fairly easily to do workshop with people on this because people know where the pain is. And then that you model it together. And then I always do a bit of decision making. Let's decide, is this the way we perceive reality? It's a simplification, but is it? Yeah. Okay, then let's do some interventions to change that system. Because if it's a negative vicious cycle, I'd rather have a positive vicious cycle. How can we turn it around? It's easier than to debate whether we should go less right now. No, let's work on the problems that are actually painful.
Yeah, I think that's a good step, because going directly into something like less or anything else that you might want will not work, because you will have to convince heaps of people.
Yeah.
And that will take forever. And then you're kind of lost in your purpose of why you're actually trying to do it.
Exactly.
So, I agree. Little steps, little changes. And therefore people feel motivated again. They feel that they own the changes that
they have a higher locus
of
control.
Yeah. I think that's a really good first step. So if you're then starting with the Scrum Masters, who are usually, I would say, the most, I wouldn't say influenced, but they are probably the most motivated to do it, because they are intrinsically, they would like to become better.
Yeah.
And the teams to become better. One of the things that I noticed, and I'm curious how you deal with that, is I still see a lot of Scrum Masters, they are kind of forced by the organization to only focus on the teams.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at the organization around them and advise the organization around to change something in order for all the teams to improve.
Sure. That's
super difficult for them.
Yeah. They have no mandate.
Yeah.
The question is, especially in a lot of corporate environments, do you believe you have no mandate, or do you actually have no mandate? Many, especially larger, or at least corporate environments, have a knack that when you do something, you don't get a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
If you don't have a slap on the wrist, there is an enormous amount of self-authority that you can exhibit, because hey, if you don't get fined, then you can speed. Then you can just move over the speeding limit, because if there's no control, if there's nobody smacking you down, you can actually do everything.
Oh, exactly.
So I tend to really drive at least the Scrum Masters that I work with into be crazy, try stuff, and I also try to show that I do that as well by providing them with difficult problems and a lot of autonomy and cheering them up. But this is an issue. I think that at least if you are an RTE, a release train engineer, what I would do is remove Scrum Masters from teams. You don't have a set team, because when a Scrum Master becomes is locked to a team, they become part of that team, and you're actually strengthening sub-optimization.
Yeah. You basically create unwantedly a silo.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you don't want.
The problem is that unless you do have a Scrum Master as part of a team, and
or 2 or 3 teams,
or 2 or 3 teams, and that's logical, because the backlog, there's one product backlog.
Yes.
So, and there's one product owner, and that ensures that sub-optimization cannot, will not, should not be possible. And then the reality will be a little bit, it will be
always in steps.
It will be a learning journey, of course. But essentially, there is one product backlog. What SAFe creates is not a one product backlog. And I can hear all product managers saying, yeah, we have like our feature backlog. No, that's not one product backlog, because if you're going to split up work, you'll see, okay, give me a random SAFe backlog. And okay, this is team X, team Y, team Z. And then team X, Y, Z. So you're always doing a bit of sub-optimization. Yeah. And do you know what sub-optimization means?
Absolutely.
Care to explain for the viewers that don't?
Yeah. So what typically happens if you don't have this collective vision, sub-optimization tends to happen when team 1 gets all the focus. They are technically very well equipped, but they are dependent on the other team that needs to deliver something to them. But that team struggles. And instead of helping that team, they are advancing very quickly in their own way, still waiting for the other team to happen, because they might have different priorities or something like that might happen. And what you're basically doing is, so one part, you're trying to motivate that team to go faster and better, and the other team still struggles. And it could be as easy to solve by just giving it one person from the other team temporarily, so that the other team can catch up. So instead of sub-optimizing one team and the other, you just, let's say, let go.
Yeah.
In terms of, okay, guys, when you catch up, we'll see you. And there are many unwanted sub-optimizations that happen. Just the fact that you have different managers for different set of teams already creates sub-optimization, because the manager probably has a KPI that is different from the other manager, or the KPI is conflicting. So bonuses are by definition very difficult if they are placed in an individual person. So there are a lot of ways to promote sub-optimization.
It's very natural that it happens, because if you have a team, you're going to try to be effective and add value, because intrinsically we want to. So it's logical you're going to do that very well.
Yeah.
And the systemic pattern is that if you optimize on a level of teams, you sub-optimize one layer above that. So what I often try to do within an agile release train is remove that team focus and try to get them to focus on art over team, rather than team over art. And that's the step 1 to move away from being a I would say a component team for the agilists that are watching. For the non-agilists, I often see project teams that work agile instead of agile teams that together solve a larger problem.
Yeah.
And what so many times I see happening is that we have a backlog for the art. No, you don't. You have like 6 teams, and team 1 is working on 1, 7, and 16 of the backlog, and then team 2 is working on 2, 3, and 4, and team 4 is working on 40, 50, and 51 because that's the only thing they can do. And that's weird. It's like building a car. Like, okay, the tires are done, the chassis is done, but we don't have a motor. Then you don't have a car, man.
Yeah. And where do you see the PI planning? Because PI planning in itself does give the opportunity for all the teams to talk to each other. They often get some shared vision. And yet it doesn't always pan out as the way it's being told.
Yeah, well, it never pans out. First of all, I don't like the day, but that's more the immense amount of people and impressions. That's not for me personally. I think why it doesn't work is that it's not in the day itself. It's in the prep. You should prep. Like a normal meeting, which many people also don't do.
Yeah.
You should take time to prep. What's the goal?
And who are typically prepping that day? Is it just a few people? Or
it's just a few people. It's process oriented. Scrum Masters, Agile coaches, or a lean center of excellence is like, you guys organize the PI planning, and then teams show up.
Yeah.
But product actually should carry this meeting. What do you want to achieve? What? Tell me what exactly, and ensure that it's not just, okay, we want this in sort of a user story, especially in a larger organization. There's way more. There's tech depth, there's org depth, there's unclarity. If you want to fix your PI planning, and I think in a larger organization, even though this gives you a adaptability that can never be lower than 3 months, because you're doing that PI planning, I think it can help you grow into being more adaptable. But if you don't do the portfolio prep, working on the portfolio management is the only thing that can help you solve a shitty product PI planning event. Because it's shit in, shit out. It's the old adage of IT: shit in, shit out. Great epics, well described, thought through. There is requirements analysis is a craft. Product management is a craft, and not just a process. And I think ensuring that taking back to LeSS, and it's interesting because this triggers what I tend to do within a release train is first get them to at least adhere to basic meeting. Just adhere to the basic foundations of a meeting, which helps to provide a little bit of safety and security. Next step is always product. Creating a product definition, which is often lacking.
Yeah.
And I think that if you take much of the things from LeSS, at least a broad product definition, so many different types of work can flow in, that helps.
All right. So from the PI planning point of view, what we're actually missing is that the teams are not involved before the PI planning. So you only have a chance as a team once you're in the day, and then you need to figure it out.
If there is like a great, like you can think many things of SAFe, and I do, but they at least describe, they have a template for an epic statement and a lean business case. The times that I've gotten one, I can count on one hand, I think.
Yeah.
And I've been working in a SAFe environments for quite some time now. Doing the prep work will provide the teams with the clarity for them to work autonomously.
At least much better, yeah. One of the things that I always found interesting And in the beginning, when I was not that much aware of LeSS, I had the same idea saying, why is it happening like this? And why can't I find something else that works better? So one of the things was you mentioned requirements. In my opinion, the teams were actually much better at making the requirements, but yet the product owner was actually always doing it. So, and then the product owner went actually to the teams to also check, okay, hey, are these good requirements? So I always thought, why don't we let the teams do that? And the PI planning doesn't really allow you to do that. You need to have this preparation phase in front of. So
I've been creating something to fix this.
And, how did you do that?
I used, when I was working in an art, we created a new product vision, and the organization wanted us to grow and build a stronger IT foundation, which meant we needed to create new teams, split new teams, because it became minds exploding.
Yeah.
I had like 20 people working in one agile team, which people were like, really? That's too big? I was like, no, let it happen. Because what happened is that they actually were working in a less type of way. Because they were like one team of 20 people. What happened in the PI planning is about like, okay, you guys do some bit of dynamic teaming and you're gonna pull this feature. And then we want this feature and we want this feature. So what you actually saw happening is that they were doing a bit of dynamic reteaming because the team was too big, they knew, but it worked. Now it's gotten even bigger. So I think this will grow from 20 to 30, 35 people. It's a corner of an art. And I was like, and then we were like, we need new teams. And I was like, let's do that. Because, not because I wanted to, I'd rather have one group of 30 people and keep it that way, but the team wanted in themselves because they had minds explode. We're going to split. And we're not going to hire new product owners. So now I have one product owner for 4 teams.
Yeah, perfect.
And which makes it extremely difficult for that product owner to do what a normal product owner would do in a safe environment.
A normal safe product owner.
Yeah, a real safe product owner, not a
real
business.
product owner is really just the person who is usually a very senior person in the organization.
With budget.
With budget and actually calls the shot on that particular area.
A safe product owner is often a business analyst.
Yeah.
Person.
Often.
And it's not bad. The work is also important.
It is, but it's again, in a way, it's a sub-optimization, which hurts the rest of the organization, actually.
Because not only the organization, it hurts people.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Then you're telling people, you are responsible for this. Why aren't you making this happen? Yeah, because this person doesn't have any mandate.
That's often the case, yeah.
And that's a really painful thing to do to people. It's like, here you have a toy, and then I'm going to take the toy away because you can't use it. Or here you have a toy, but there's no batteries in it.
Yeah.
And I will point the finger at you if you don't get the toy to work. It's a bit of having your cake and eat it too. This is about power, and it's being intransparent about where power actually resides, and that I think that degrades what you do. That degrades your work and your sense of being able to be valuable and add value to people and work in your organization. Simply because, and it's just 2 words, but you can't be an owner because you're not going to get fired as well. You don't have mandate about the budget, and that hurts people. So being honest about this really helps towards people, because they'll kill themselves inside a little bit because they try to, but they actually can't, and that creates a very weird vacuum. So the business analyst role, very valuable. And I created like one product owner for like right now 4 teams, which requires that he delegates this work into the teams.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think what you often see with less adoptions, and what some people try to do inside a safe adoption, is to actually already try to move some of those roles into the teams.
Yeah.
So that the business analyst is actually not a separate person or department, but actually they spread out over the teams so that they can do already some of that prep work and together with the team actually make the requirements.
Make the requirements, collaborate on that.
And that saves a lot of work on the product owner, because he or she is usually not that well equipped anyway for all that detailed work.
True that.
So one of the things that I still haven't seen many organizations try to do in a safe environment is to actually have the customer focus come back into the teams, so that the team actually has a way to approach a customer.
Yeah.
To ask and get some feedback, saying, hey, we've done this perhaps in the last 3 months. What do you think of it? So there's a huge gap between what the customer has as feedback and how it ripples to the teams.
It's not the customer. Well, what I often have discussions and explanations. There are 2 types of stakeholders that you need to take into account. There's a customer. That's the one with the money.
Yep.
That's what in LeSS you often call the product owner. In SAFe, it's called a business owner. That's your customer, because he's the one footing your bill.
Yeah, that could be internal or external.
Could be internal or external, but that's the one footing at least the bill of your agile release train. There's also a user, and there are 2 different. The customer doesn't really know the user, and vice versa, and they have different needs and desires and requirements. A product manager should manage them both and really be aware of the difference. The customer is the one who's paying.
Yes.
The user is the one who's using. And you should work with the user, and that should satisfy the customer's needs. If you do only directly to the customer, it will work short term, but not long term, because you're not. So I've seen this. Funny story. I've organized user safaris.
What are those?
Think of you're going into the jungle with your verrekijker.
Yeah,
with your binoculars.
Yeah.
And you're gonna spot the users in their natural environment, and made a little bit of a joke about it because it's so unnatural for us to do. It's just as unnatural as going on a safari in the jungle.
It's super important for the teams to actually be able to do that.
It helps them enormously.
Whether it's a user from something that is a digital product, to something where the users have physical products that they use, and the software part is what you make, for example, for them.
Yeah,
and then
especially in IT, visiting users and seeing them in their real environment feels almost like a Yumbers episode. Helps enormously in teams feeling valuable and not just feeling like a feature factory, which is very inherent in SAFe. That's step 1. Step 2 would be taking your customer on those safaris to let them figure out for themselves. So as a product manager, this would help very much.
Yeah.
That their assumption and ideas about the world aren't tested and tried and might not be true. That helps enormously. And that provides a base of, if they see that, they feel that, especially teams that have been in a safe environment for a year or 2 years, then reality kicks in. The first year is like everything changes.
Of course,
there's still a lot of coaches doing yay, and and
you're learning something new.
You're learning something new.
Everybody's trying their best.
Second year, reality kicks in because conflicts start to arise, and in the third year, you're kind of drained. So you need to relight that fire, rekindle that fire, and it starts with a little flame. So this helps create that little flame again, and that's a little flame you need in order to make steps towards less. Because, for example, if you have often have a project team that works agile, which can be a component team, or you often see it when you have if you look at the team name, you can either have a team that has a random name. Often you see the rainbow unicorns of or
the funny names.
The funny names.
Yeah.
Or you see we are team finance dashboarding. Okay. That's if you see that, then all bells should
alarm
pop
bells
off. All alarm bells should pop off. Because those teams are project teams that are stuck. Because if you do that, then you can't ever do something different. Because that's your identity. So you need to visit the users and see that you're doing valuable stuff, because that helps and enables you to let go of that capability as your center of the universe.
Yep.
Because if I'm integration, or if I'm the API guy, then you're only doing that. But that's not who you are. That's simply what you do in a specific amount of time. I have many different roles at work. I'm the marketer. I'm sometimes the finance guy. I'm the dad at home.
Yeah.
I'm chief garbage as well. And I can play multiple of these roles, because in the end I try to provide value, and I don't only do that because I'm just this capability. So letting go of that is an important step to be able to make the move towards less in your little protected bubble.
Yeah. So as a kind of last let's say giveaway for the viewers. So how would you go on about this in a safe environment?
Start with an art, because nobody's going to look into an art. If you go across art, then you'll see that there is a lean agile center of excellence that has an opinion, and their goal is keep doing this, because they're also a project team with a capability team that
has been prescripted.
Exactly. So focus on a specific art. If you're lucky, you have an art that's focused on a specific business process, and then you can do a lot of things, because then you have sort of an enclosed, encapsulated environment that nobody really looks into. Start with some basics. Ensure that you are ticking the metrics that management finds important. They're shitty metrics, I don't care. Tick the boxes. Because if you're under the gun, you have freedom and autonomy to do the things the way you think they should be done. You should start talking, I often have an empty agenda and just walk around and talk with people about the difference between project teams that work agile, or what's the multiple backlog problem, and what the essence and the consequences are. Start causal loop diagramming. Make a dossier. That's really important. People forget this, and I know it's annoying to document things, but it's really, really important to do so. Document where the things in safe are providing a tension, where they're hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you have like an enormous list of things that you can, it's like there's a before and an after. Why is this happening? Create that view of the world.
Yeah, to have some tangible let's say, ways that you need to change.
Yeah,
So that's kind of the list you're talking
exactly.
about for documenting it. Yeah. Okay.
Use teams, show the users to teams that there are real people that are really actually enjoying or using your software, so you can let go of your product focus. Try to change the team name. And this sounds so simple. It's so extremely difficult.
I can imagine, yeah.
Because the teams as well need to let go of a part of their identity. And they need to, the team identity needs to resolve a little bit for them to focus on an art identity. And that's difficult. And if you are doing this as an RT or a Scrum Master or actually whatever role, it doesn't really matter. Even if you're a product manager, find someone that you can cry with. Because it's not for the faint of heart. I'm like if you know the show Undercover Boss, that's what I do. And you're placing yourself in an inhospitable environment that cares about structure and a sense of security. And what you're going to do there is you're going to strip much of that away. And that's difficult. So you need to have a fallback. A little bit of home of other crazy people that also believe this. Because if you are in an art and you are the 1%, who's the idiot?
Yeah, most
who's
likely,
the crazy one?
Most likely you, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It probably, I firmly believe that doing that and stripping away a lot of the unclarity, because it's so much in SAFe, helps to actually provide better.
So who would be your partners in crime then, in such environments? I mean, who would you expect probably to go along with the ideas? Is it the teams, or are it the Scrum Masters, or are it the managers, or other types of roles?
I do a little bit of both. I focus very much on Scrum Masters first, because they tend to be like the first advocates. Next step, product owners. After I got a couple of Scrum Masters intrigued and enthusiastic again, because what I often see is that they feel that their craft is valued again.
Yeah.
And that they can be more than just an office manager, because nobody understands the craft. I also start with developers. And then I don't look at the function title, but which are the developers that everyone goes to when they have a problem they can't fix. The really senior people, your internal ambassadors, the senior people, you need them, because they will pressure Scrum Masters and product owners from below. Ensure, because the things that you are doing will create tension. You'll probably have some very difficult discussions and debates with system architects, product managers, and a lot of people, because what do you rather have, a pill for your problem or a very hard work? Nobody wants that hard work. They're not used to that. They don't desire that. That's why they work at a big corporate environment.
So you need to be very clear in why you're making these types of steps.
And if I'm talking Yiddish to a Chinese person, he doesn't understand. And that's actually what we're talking about here. Two completely different languages and ways of looking at the world.
Yeah.
So you need backing from someone, a senior manager that that says, okay, I'm going to back you up no matter what.
Could that be the person that hired you?
Yeah.
Or doesn't that always work in a big organization?
That works. And sometimes it don't as well, but You need to find a sponsor that will state, okay, I see the pain and I think it's necessary. Some of the assignments that I've done, I was like, I can do this for you and I can help you with this, but I require full autonomy, period. If you're not going to say yes right now, I'm not coming, because then we're in a lose-lose situation. So spend also a fairly large amount of time on one or two, preferably a senior manager that you report to, or manage up a little. Because what will happen is, if you're going to do this change, productivity might go down.
Yeah, I recognize what you say. I think for any of the upcoming talks, leadership might be a good one to talk about as well. How can you convince your leadership about something that by talking in their language?
Yeah,
it's a good.
And sometimes I know especially good how to, and sometimes I'm like, oh my God, it's difficult, and I get their issues as well. Perhaps this is a nice moment to wrap it up.
Yeah,
and invite everyone. So everyone viewing, also check in for the next episode, because we're going to talk about leadership. Any ideas that you want to dive into for that episode?
Well, I think there are many. I think you just mentioned already one. How can you actually convince management about X, Y, Z? And you want to do something, you need to have a change. And often people don't manage to get that across.
Yeah.
So we can explore why that happens, and what you can try to do, and how that would work. And I think the other one might be interesting to learn more about. Let's say what is actually leadership compared to the rest of the organization. How are they thinking?
Yeah.
Why is that so important to you? And how does it help you in selling whatever you want to change to them?
Ooh, then we're going to talk about power and stuff like that.
Amongst others, yeah.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
Love to review that one as well.
Yeah.
But for now, I think we need to wrap it up. We're almost an hour in. I was like, and I still have so many interesting things.
Yeah. Well, perhaps the editor can do magic and make it 20 minutes. Cool stuff, Kevin.
Very cool stuff. Thanks for this talk.
Thank
you guys for listening, viewing, and if you have made it to the end, wow. Very proud, very thankful.
Yes.
Until
right.
next time.
Until next time, Kevin.
Ciao.